All right, so I'm not going to go too heavy into this or too long into this, but and it's I'm going to talk a little bit about 9/11, and it's not even midnight here, so it's technically not 9/11 yet, but I'm just going to talk about it now, just because. But yeah, I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't like really talking about it. But there's a couple things I wanted to say. Um, One thing that kind of made me mad was an article I read in my local newspaper that said anybody who was 10 and under, or who anybody who's a 10 and above in age will remember 9/11 for the rest of their lives. Now I was 8 years old, seven going on 8 in a couple months, and I remember it like it was yesterday. You don't forget something like that when you're that age, even at that age. Um, I remember every little thing, and I think the last video I did about last year during 9/11, I talked a little more about my experience with it, so I'm not going to really go too deep into it, but I mean, I remember waking up, seeing it on the screen. I remember hearing about it all through the school day. I remember having my dad walk me home, which I thought was really funny because he never done that before. I remember, just thinking about it. I remember being a geek and thinking, what would Superman do? Stuff like that because I was little. I remember thinking about at this age. I didn't really care, or not what I'm talking about 9/11, but with gas prices, I didn't really care. But I remember thinking to myself and hearing my parents talking about what about gas prices, which is weird to think about when you're 7 or 8 years old. I didn't really think of it as an adult, but I just thought of it like I heard my parents talking about it, so I thought the gas prices would go up, and I remember all kinds of stuff like that, and so I remember it. I remember it perfectly. I remember every year anniversary. I remember first year was really, really crazy. I remember. I especially remember the third year. That was the year that I really got into it, and I really looked it up and really tried to get a better grasp of it. Even though when I was little, I knew terrorists hit the towers, they collapsed. I know the details of it, but I didn't know the reasons why. I didn't know. Exactly who did it. I don't remember. I didn't know any of that because I was little, and just because I was little doesn't mean I remember it and remember seeing those images live. Because like I said, you don't forget something like that. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. I will be taking time during the day tomorrow, or in a couple hours, I guess, but tomorrow mostly. And I'm going to be thinking about it, and I'll be thinking about the people, and I'll be thinking about the people who fought in the war after, and thinking of how lucky I am and how lucky we all are that we still are in the same place. I'm still living in the same house as I did then, and thinking about, stuff like that, and thinking about how we're able to still be here without any problems because of the sacrifices our country's made. But, I'm not going to, spend my day like I did that one year just looking it up and thinking about it all day, because it is one of those things where you'll never forget it, and it'll always be very emotional and sad to you, and you don't want to forget it, but it's time moving on, and especially since it's crazy that it's been 10 years that this has happened. It's I think a lot of people have moved on in a good way, taking their time, having this become kind of not I don't want to say a holiday, but having it be a significant date in our American history and probably in the world's history. But I don't want to sit there tomorrow and just sit in a room and watch documentaries on it and look up video of live things from it, because I've done that before and I know everything about it, and I don't want to see that again. I'm probably going to be going and buying a video game tomorrow. I'm going to be playing that quite a bit, but I'm not saying that I'm not going to think about it, because I definitely will be thinking about it. And like I said, all those things, sacrifices people have made, stuff like that. So I am very thankful, and I really wish this never happened, along with the millions of other people, but, Yeah, and I just wanted to talk about that article because that's really frustrating that people. I just want people older than me to know that I'm a person that doesn't. I don't like to get attention. Like, I mean, I'm not an attention whore. I don't say things to get attention. I know a lot of people who say, "Oh, I remember this," just to get attention, and they really don't remember it. But I really do remember that, and I just want people to know people our age do remember that, and not to keep us out of the equation because it has affected us and it has affected our lives too. And when Bin Laden died, when they announced his death, it was a relief to a lot of people around my age, not just my age, but people older, people younger, because he kind of was the threat of our lives. He was the villain, the arch villain of our lives that scared us and thought, he's still out there, he could still be doing things, he could still be planning things. And I'm not saying just because he's dead everything's over, but I'm just saying when he died, it was a significant point in my life, just because the last 10 years that I've been on this earth, I've been thinking about, since after that day, I've been thinking about, him and about how he's still out there and how he could still do these things, and that he's still trying to hurt our people. And so yeah, that was another thing, that was a big significant point too. But just remember that people our age do remember this time. But that's all. It was longer than I expected, but it's all right.